In the remote village of Willowbrook lived a 17-year-old young man named Liam. From a young age, Liam had always been deeply curious about how things worked. Often, he would spend his time dismantling household items and reassembling them to figure out their mechanics. This peculiar habit made Liam seem odd to the villagers. While other children his age helped their parents in the fields, Liam preferred to spend his time in his small, cluttered workshop. Willowbrook was a village that heavily relied on agriculture. The farmers grew rice and vegetables as their main source of livelihood. However, that year, the village faced a serious problem. An extended dry season led to very low rainfall, causing the fields to dry up and the crops to wither. The simple irrigation system they had been using was insufficient to keep the soil moist. The farmers began to lose hope, as a failed harvest would mean they would struggle to meet their daily needs. Liam saw the despair in the eyes of his neighbors and family. He felt concerned and wanted to help, even though people often underestimated him. Every day, he observed the drying fields, trying to figure out what he could do. After a few days of observation, Liam realized that the main issue was the lack of an efficient water supply. The small river running near the village wasn't being utilized effectively, and the farmers were solely relying on the increasingly rare rainfall. Inspired by modern irrigation systems he had read about in old books found in the village library, Liam began designing a simple tool. He thought that if there wasn't enough water from rain, there might be another way to gather water. Liam considered the morning dew that formed each night on the leaves and grass. If he could collect this dew and channel it to the fields, perhaps it could help. Liam then spent days in his workshop, designing a device that could gather dew and turn it into a water source for the crops. The device consisted of a series of metal tubes connected by small pipes and automatic valves. These tubes were designed to capture morning dew and channel it into a water reservoir. From this reservoir, the water would be distributed to the fields through pipes buried underground. To ensure that water was only released when the soil truly needed it, Liam installed a homemade soil moisture sensor that could open and close the valves automatically. The process of building this device wasn't easy. Liam had to try many times, and often encountered failures. However, he didn't give up. He kept refining his design, learning from every mistake he made. Several times, the tubes he installed leaked, or the moisture sensor didn't work as expected. Each failure made Liam more determined to find a solution. After weeks of hard work, Liam finally managed to create a functioning prototype. He installed the device in his family's small field. At first, the villagers only laughed at him. They thought Liam's device was just another odd experiment that wouldn't work. However, Liam remained confident in his idea and waited patiently for the results. A few days later, something surprising happened. The plants in his family's field started to grow more lushly compared to other fields that were still drying out. The rice leaves looked fresh and green, and the soil around them appeared more moist. The villagers who had previously underestimated Liam began to grow curious. They came to Liam's family field to take a closer look at what the young man had done. Seeing the tangible results, the neighbors began asking Liam to help install the same system in their fields. Liam, who had previously been avoided because he was considered strange, now became the center of attention. He gladly helped the farmers set up the irrigation system. Although he used only simple tools and recycled materials, the system proved to be very effective in collecting dew and channeling it into the soil. Within a few weeks, changes began to appear throughout the village. The fields that had been dry and withered turned green and lush. The farmers, who had previously lost hope, now worked in the fields with renewed enthusiasm, as the harvest that year seemed to be back on track. The story of Liam's invention quickly spread throughout Willowbrook. Those who once mocked him now praised him as a hero. Liam showed them that innovation could come from anyone, even from a young man, often considered odd. His invention not only saved the village from crop failure, but also taught everyone that sometimes the best solutions could come from simple ideas that no one had thought of before. Liam became an inspiration to many young people in Willowbrook. He proved that age and background were not barriers to making a difference. With determination, creativity, and the courage to think outside the box, one could make a significant impact on their community. From that moment on, the villagers began to see Liam in a different light. They appreciated him as a brave and intelligent young innovator who had helped them through tough times. Willowbrook now had new hope. Thanks to Liam and his invention, they were no longer entirely dependent on unpredictable rainfall. They had a more efficient and sustainable irrigation system. The farmers learned to be more open to new ideas and were no longer afraid to try things they had never done before. Liam continued his research, always looking for ways to improve his irrigation system and help his village with other innovations. He knew that new challenges would always arise, but he was ready to face them with the same enthusiasm and creativity as when he first created the dew collecting device. For Liam, every problem was an opportunity to learn and create something beneficial for others.